Hello friends, this is Sriman Tilgave and you are learning ASP.NET MVC 5 tutorial step by step. This is part 10 and in this tutorial we are going to understand model in ASP.NET MVC 5. So in this tutorial we are going to cover what is model in ASP.NET MVC 5, how to add the model in ASP.NET MVC 5 using Visual Studio 2017, how to pass the data from controller to view, how to use the model in view, how to apply the Bootstrap CSS to view. So these all are the points we are going to understand in this tutorial step by step. So before proceeding this video, I will request you to, if you haven't watched the previous part of this series, then please go ahead and watch, so that will be helpful to understand the more detail of model. So first one is the what is model in MVC. So in MVC, M stand for the model and model is a normal C# class. So model is one of the component in MVC. So model is responsible to handle the data and the business logic. So model is responsible to represent the shape of the data, and it is also responsible for the business logic. So if you want to write the business logic, then we can use the model. And model is also responsible for handling the database related changes. So if you want to insert, update, delete, so if you perform any database related operation, that can be covered inside the model. So this is the simple diagram of a model view controller. So you can see model can directly pass the data to the view, or it can pass the data to the controller, and controller return the data to the view. So this is the simple diagram of model view controller, and model is one of the important component in MVC. So next point is how to add the model in MVC. So first, what we can do, we can create the model name like the product model inside the model folder, and we can add some properties and method to get the product, and we can go with practically and understand more detail. So open the Visual Studio. I have created the application having name MVC5 model demo. So you can create the project and provide the meaningful name. So I have provided MVC5 model demo. So once you create the project, you can see here there is one folder called model, and previously we have understand what is controller and view. So now in this tutorial we are going to understand the model. So how to create the model? So to create the model, so right click on the model folder, go to add, and so either you can click on the class or you can click on the new item. So once you click on the new item, so you can see here is the code folder in the left side. Click on the code folder, and you can see here is the class template. So click on the class template and provide the meaningful name. So I can say simply this is the product class. Click on add. So you can see the extension of the model is a .cs. It is a normal C# class, and once we created to understand the product, to understand the model, so we can define some properties. So first I will say product ID, and second I will say name, product name as a string, and third one integer as a order ID, and integer as a quantity. So these all are the fields we have created inside the product. So to get the data, So we can create one method public, and I'm going to create the static method, so I don't want to create the object of product class. So public static, and we can say I will use the return type as the product, so I'm using the return. And you can see in the Visual Studio 2016 it will automatically suggested the name of the method, so you can use, I will use the get product, and we can create the object of product class is equal to new product, and I can simply provide the properties. So first one is the product ID, so you can simply say 01 is the product ID, or product name I can say C# book, and order ID so 02, and quantity I will provide the 2. So just we have created the object of product and provide the some properties, and I will return the product. So return type of this method is a product, so I can return the product object. So we can also use, we can directly return the product, we can directly return from here also. So we can directly return like this, so return new, but the fresher people does not understand, so that's why so I have created the object of product and return to the method. So this is the simple method I have created inside the product class. So we have defined some properties inside the product class and created one method called as a get product, which will return the product, and it is a static method. So once we have created the model inside the model folder. Once it is created, so we can understand how to pass the data from controller to view. So to pass the data from controller to view, we need to import the namespace inside the controller, and we need to pass the object of the model to the view method. So how we can go with example and understand more detail. So go to the controller folder, click on the home controller, and to use the model, so you can see here home controller is inside the controller folder, and model, so our product, so I want to use the product, and product class is inside the model folder. So if I want to access the product, then I have to use the namespace of the model. So how can we use? So we can say using, we can provide the application name. In this case I will say MVC model demo dot, I will say model. After providing the namespace, so after using the namespace, so we can call the get method, and get method is a static method. We can call the static method by using the class name, and you can see the return type of the get method is a product. So I can define the product, and I will pass the product object to the view. So view, so first we need to understand the overloaded method. So it is a list of overloaded method. So first, it does not have any parameter. Second, it has the parameter as a view. Third, it has the model as an object, so we can pass the model. So we have also understand how to return the view in the previous tutorial. So I can simply pass the model as an object. So we have passed the data from controller to view. So next is how to use the model in view. So we can go with example to understand how to use the model in view. So to use the model, first we need to create the view. So to create the view, set the cursor here, right click and click on add. So if you are new with how to create the view, then you can watch my tutorial View in ASP.NET MVC 5. So that will be helpful to understand the view in more detail. After providing the name, view name, click on add. It will create the view, and extension of view is a .cshtml. So now I want to use the model to the view. So to use the model, we can simply say @model, and we can provide the application name .models.product. And so we have used a model in a view. So next one is how to use the model in view. And once we use the model, so we can display the data to the view. So how can we display the data? So we can create the table to display the data to the browser. So we can create the table, and I will provide the border is equal to 1, and table can contain the table heading, and table heading contain the table row contain the table heading. This is the table header, and table header can contain the table row, and table row contain the table heading. So table heading, I will provide the product ID. Second one is the product name, and third one is the order ID and quantity. After providing the table header, we need to provide the table body. Table body can contain the table row, and table row contain the table data. So previously we have provide the static data to the table data, but in this tutorial we are going to use this model data. So whatever the information which we have provided to this property inside the product model, so product ID should be display 01, product name should be display C# book, and order ID 02 and quantity 2. So this information we need to display to the view. So to use this, what we need to do, we need to use @model dot, so we can say product ID, and here, and you can see here @model, and here is the also @model. So here is the capital and here is the small model. So this @model is a property to get the property of the object. So if you right click and go to the definition, so you can see the model is a one property inside the web view page class, and and which is a abstract class inside the system.web.muc namespace. So the use of model is get the model property of the associate system.web.muc view data dictionary object. So the model is used to get the model property. So in this case we have a product model, and if you want to get the properties of the product model, then we can use the @model. So same, we can retrieve the property by using model dot, we can say product name, table data @model dot, so we can say order ID, model dot, so we can say quantity. So you can see here, just we have created the table which contain the table header. Table header has table row and which contains some table heading, and this is the table body, contain the table row, and we have provided the model, we have bind the model property to the table data, and it will display the dynamically, so it is not the static. So previous tutorial we have understand only the static value to display the static value inside the table to the view. So in this tutorial we are passing the dynamic model property and pass the data from the model. So we can change the name of the header, and I will simply say header 3 h3 tag. I will simply say h3 tag, and once this is created, so we have bind the data to the HTML control. So next is how to use the Bootstrap in View, or how to apply the Bootstrap CSS to table in View. So let's understand. So if you have a knowledge on the Bootstrap, then you can use the Bootstrap classes that will be provide look and feel to the HTML control. So I will simply say class is equal to, it has small default table class, it will provide some CSS to the table, and I will say table border, and next I will use the table responsive, and inside this table row I will use the class, and I will say btn primary. So once this is completed, what we can do, so once it is completed, run the program. Yeah, so you can see it will display the table dynamically. So product ID is 01, so like the 1, product name is the C# book, order ID is 2, and quantity is also 2, and it will provide, so you can see we have provided as a Bootstrap CSS, that's why provide the better look and feel to the table. So this is the simple way to understand about the model. So next one is the interview question and homework. So the many interviewer is asked the question on model part for the only fresher, not for the experienced people. So the fresher, it may be asked what is model in MVC and how to use the model in View. So this is the simple question many interviewer is asked in interview. So if you understand my tutorial, then definitely you can provide the best answer to the interviewer. So next is the homework. So what you can do, you can create the one model name like the student.cs in model folder, and create the method get student name, which will be returned the student only, and create the table so inside the view, and you can provide the student ID 100, student name Krishna, email krishna@gmail.com, and class is learning in a second standard. So these all are the points we have covered in this tutorial. So in this tutorial we have first understand what is model in ASP.NET MVC 5, how to create the model in MVC, and also we have understand how to pass the data from controller to view, and how to use the model in view, and how to bind the model to the HTML control. So, and also we have understand how to apply the Bootstrap CSS to the HTML table. So these all are the points we have understand in this tutorial. So that's all from this tutorial. So thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe my channel. If you are like, then please add your valuable comment, and for more detail you can visit my blog www.programmingwithsri.com.